The Career Trail. Your success journey begins here.
God took a microphone, put a soul in it, dropped it on earth, and named it Irene Eduvia Ainin, and I was born to talk. These words are from my guest who joins me today on the Career Trail. I believe you want to know who he is. Well, if you are ready, I was definitely born ready to do this. Let's take a look at the profile video of my guest.
This week on the Career Trail, who is our guest? He's a seasoned Ghanaian radio and television broadcaster known for his versatility, poise, and professionalism across both entertainment and current affairs programming. His broadcasting career began at Vision FM in Koforidua, where he hosted the Vision Drive for over 3.5 years before making his transition to the capital city, Accra. With over 9 years of experience in television and more than 15 years in event hosting, he has earned his place as a respected household name in Ghana's entertainment industry. He currently co-hosts the Prime Morning Breakfast Show on Joy Prime, airing from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., where he engages audiences with compelling conversations and live entertainment. His communication strengths extend into corporate PR, serving as public relations officer for a reputable jewelry company in Ghana. He has hosted high-profile national and international events, including the Ghana Independence Concert in Minnesota 2024, the Ghana Music Awards USA 2023 and 2022, and the biggest Easter concert at Rock City Hotel, Kwewu. His work has earned him several accolades, including Best Male TV Personality at the Eminent Awards 2022, Showbiz TV Presenter of the Year 2019, and the Voter Media Excellence Award 2020 for Influential Media Personality. Beyond media, he's an entrepreneur managing multiple businesses, including a barbering salon and a pub, showcasing his commitment to job creation and local enterprise. Passionate about legacy, youth empowerment, and media excellence, he believes if I am going to leave this world, then I must make sure I make enough impact on my generation to continue to still keep me alive while I'm gone. Our guest for this week's edition of the Career Trail is Pepo Maxwell Justice, popularly known as KMJ, the Royal Host.
Welcome back. I believe you know who is on the Career Trail today. It's no other than the Royal Host himself, KMJ.
Oh boy.
KMJ, good to see you.
Good to see you too. I can't believe I'm sitting next to
I know, right?
okay. Gal King, Oprah Winfrey, who else? Well, I can't believe I'm here. But it feels good to be here.
Okay, you're welcome to the
I've been waiting, so I said to myself, when is she going to invite me? Or maybe I've not gotten there yet.
Oh, no.
And finally I get a call.
You have passed that level. But welcome to the Career Trail.
Thank you.
You're looking smart.
I try. I mean, you
as always.
You're a superstar.
Fashion guru.
I needed to make sure that I'm coming right.
All right, so I got those words correct, right?
You did, actually.
Do I have to pay for plagiarism?
I think so. Well, maybe I'll forgive you. The last time our ex-president did, he never paid for anything, so.
Oh, okay. But it's been a while since we heard those words.
Yeah.
What happened?
I think that I try to evolve. I mean, there's something about me, and it's that I've got so many things that one way or the other connect me with a lot of things that I do. So sometimes it just, you may hear, on a certain platform, so a certain show, you may not hear it in a certain, show. So, for example, in the morning show, I end the show by saying, take care of yourself and each other. And that's what I say every time. But you may not hear that on another show.
Oh,
okay. I've got a couple of shows that I run. So, for example, on the Friday night show, like this, just easy and everything. So I get to just speak me and do me, And there, I finished saying all the things that I say and end up with, I am God's good humor on earth. And I believe that I've gotten to a point that I've been able to assess me.
Okay.
And I figured out that I think that if we're looking for good humor that God planted on this earth, it has to be me. So I'm the God's good humor on earth.
Yeah, definitely. That's amazing, though. But KMJ, some people say they were born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Was yours a silver spoon or yours was a golden spoon? Tell us about it. How was the upbringing like growing up?
I never even made it for a bronze spoon. Really. I didn't think that I was able to, be in any of those categories. I think that I had a very humble beginning. I came from a family where what you believe is what you get. And whatever you want to desire to get is what you work for. And so nobody's going to hand over anything, just open your mouth and let's just put honey in that. No, it never happened like that. But I would also not say that I came from a poor family. I mean, I had a dad who was very disciplinarian. He was hardworking. My late dad was a self-taught person. And you walk into his room and all you see is books. All you see is newspapers. And he had newspapers as far back as 60-something.
Oh.
Yes. So it tells you where he was coming from. And he believed that if you want to be anything, you need to work yourself out for it. And so I saw that more of being rich than being poor. Okay. Because I knew that if I don't make it at anything, I should be able to get the knowledge that is acquired and let it help me become somebody. And so, yes, I grew up doing Shoeshine. I was once a Shoeshine boy.
Interesting.
I sold pure water. And anybody who was part of my life in Obuasi, where we did, and I said where we did because I have a twin brother, and so we did our basic from there. When I was in JHS, when I closed from school, I'd go and either sell pure water or go and do Shoeshine boy. So I had my own Shoeshine box. My mom used to sell banku, at the roadside. So my mom's banku is here and my Shoeshine box is here. So people come, and I recently was shooting one of our episodes for May Day.
Okay.
And we drove. I was supposed to be a trot mate. So we drove all the way to Tema. When we got to Tema, the chalawute I was wearing got on. Mm-hmm. So I got down, went to where they do the guy had slept for about 30 minutes or so. When he woke up, he had no idea what I was doing. I also figured out that he was a bit drunk. So I told him, give me the needle and the thread. I'll sew it myself and pay you. And I did. I think Sheila still has the video on that.
And you did
I
that?
did the sewing of the chalawute there. Sheila was amazed. I'm like, yeah.
Interesting.
So I grew up knowing very well that if I want to be anything, I needed to work for it. So I have done this. I've sold pure water. My mom had a big, freezer. And so I said, I won't let this go waste. So I'll put those times we used to sell, not the ones that we're selling now, the ones that you put in the rubber, you tie it, and then it becomes, there's a name that they used to call it, opening the penny.
Okay.
Those times you were younger. I'll sell that, on my head. My schoolmates would see me selling it. And I didn't have a problem with that.
But I didn't feel shy.
Not at all.
They laugh at you.
No. So my dad never used to live with us because quality control, he goes to where he was transferred to. So at the end of the month, then he comes to take care of us. So when my dad is away and we have no money in the house, I feed the house until my dad comes and reimburse me with my pure water and Shoeshine money. And that's how my dad at a point fell in love that, okay, I think that this is something that, none of my children is doing it. But if you're doing it and you're making it make sense, then it's a good thing. So yeah, there are a few times that I had to borrow my mom money and she would give it to back. Some she would not give me back, but really, it is.
But how old were you by then?
I was young. I was in JHS. I should be around 14, thereabout. Yes, I was just doing it because I thought that I needed to do something for myself. And I was playing football at the time as well. So my dad got me everything that has to do with football kits because he knew that I was good. I mean, I captain on the 12th, on the 14th, and the 17th.
Black
Boise. Until, yeah, I mean, I was very good on the pitch until after high school that I decided that I want to do radio, and then that journey began. But I mean, I've gone through it. You understand?
Yeah.
And so I didn't feel shy that I had to do something to support my family or do something that I loved, And I was that guy. I was loved, basically. So I didn't see that as a problem. I saw it more like doing something to help myself and my family. And so, yeah, that's what it is.
Okay. Okay, so talking about you doing business at that age while you were still schooling, this brings me to this question. What advice would you give to students who are currently working but still going to school? How do you juggle both?
Yeah. It's priorities. And I think that you need to sit back and understand that whatever it is you're doing, you're going to be getting the payback And so if you're doing it, it will come with a sacrifice because you're doing two things at a time. Now, don't forget, when you graduate from school, you're getting your honors yourself. That is what you want to do for yourself. So whatever that comes with it, it's an accomplishment for yourself. Think about that. Because a lot of people go to school and they're thinking that my parents said I should go to school. And so I'm going to school for my parents. And so when they're doing that and they had to take on another job or another responsibility, it's as though somebody's putting pressure on them. Because, really, why would I have to be doing this and be working at the same time? Or to be an entrepreneur and decide that I want to go to school at the same time? Forgetting that, whatever honors you get at the end of the day is your accomplishment. So you should be excited about that instead of thinking that, oh, it's a burden in the first place. And secondly, you need to know how to manage your time. It's very important. I was going to school and I was still doing TV at the time when I was GIG. Well, a lot of people don't even know that I went to GIG because I was sneaking my way throughout all the time. But I was doing two things at a time. Weekends where I have to MC event. I've had a situation where I had to go write exams, fly to Kumasi to MC an event, and in 3 hours or 4 hours, fly back to Accra and still prepare for an exam the next day. I was doing this on a daily because then, my job on weekends is MCing and all that. So I'll come to work on Monday to Friday. Weekends I'll go to school and I'll be MCing and be going to school at the same time. There are times that I don't even know what has been taught already because I needed to go sacrifice and make some money. So whilst I'm making the money, I'm losing from school. I had to go back to my friends and ask them what went on when I was not around. I get all the notes and I go through them, and because I needed to at that point. So you should understand that you've got time on your hands, but it's not yours.
Okay.
How you manage it would depend solely on you. And that's one thing that a lot of people don't even really look at. You get it? So know how to manage your time and also believe in whatever business that you're doing. Because seriously, there's no sense doing any entrepreneurship or business, whatever, you're not making money to support what you're doing. If you're losing and you're still sacrificing for school, there's no need. So know what you want to do.
Okay.
Know that it will bring you some money. Dedicate yourself to it. And trust me, I've seen many people who have done this and they've been very successful at it. So my advice is prioritize your time, know what exactly you want to get yourself into, and do not forget that whatever honors that you acquire at the end of your education, it's your accomplishment. You should be very happy about it rather than being whatever.
Yeah, that's true. Thanks for that education there. So KMJ, growing up, you know that we have this saying, I want to be a nurse, I want to be a doctor. How was it for you? Who or what did you look up to growing up?
Oh boy, I'm sure my late dad is still disappointed. Maybe one way or the other, he's had a change of mind in his grave, or God has given him that, temper to actually forgive me for making a decision to stop playing football and do radio. So radio never was a thing for me when I was growing up. Radio, TV was never a thing for me when I was growing up. I think it was football. And it was football throughout. I was doing athletics for school and all of that. I was running 100 meters. I was doing cross country for school and all of that when I was younger. And I did that through my basic, to my JHS, to my SSS. It was SHS, now SHS, that I decided that I was going to give up football and then do this. And my dad was very angry. Now, I believed so much in what I could do on the pitch. And so there was no point that I made my mind that I want to stop it. So after high school, I think something happened. But then when I was growing up, my dad was a radio person. He was on the BBC. He's listening to DW. He's reading papers. Okay. So in the morning when you wake up, this is BBC. And you would keep hearing that every single day when you wake up in the morning. Okay. So you're either listening to some news on BBC and was watching CNN. Every time is just on CNN. And so that was there. I could listen to my dad go on radio and talk about sports and whatever. You understand? I loved it. I loved to listen to people talk on radio. And when I did, passion set in. Okay. I was so passionate about doing radio or letting people hear my voice. And I figured that I had a very nice voice. And so the whole thing about, you sitting and talking, educating people and saying things people have no idea, and they get to love you for that, actually set in. And I said, you know what? I am done with playing football. Now, I think also one other thing that was a disadvantage with the football was the fact that I was scared of injury. Because then we had stories of many people getting injured and not able to fulfill your dreams and all of that. But I never had to tell my dad that I was scared of injury. He would have seen me as a coward. And so I had to hide that, But in seriously, I was scared because I saw many things when I was playing football.
Okay.
One of our captain, Ortega, at the time in Obuasi, that's what we called him. And he was our captain at the time. He left before I took over the captaincy. Now, I saw this guy's leg broken into pieces, like this, on the pitch. We're playing, the Coast team were playing competition, the Coast League. And this guy's leg here was broken like this. We had to carry him to the hospital for them to stitch and do a lot of things. In fact, he had to be taken to one of the best places for him to get his leg back to normal. That thing scared me.
No.
It scared the hell out of me. And so it has always been on my mind. And I sometimes ask myself, I'm not from a rich family. If this thing happens to me, what is going to happen? What's my dream going to be like?
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? As long as I'm passionate about this other side of it, which means I have to use my voice and do things that I love, I'm done with football.
Oh, okay.
So after high school, then I said...
Before we take you to high school, let's pause with that. We'll come back to that. But take us through your educational background. Okay. Where did you start from?
So I was born, I'm an Ewe by, ethnicity. But
okay.
I was born in the Central Region, which is Agunabu Bikuma. My dad, like I said, was a quality control division worker, so he had too many transfers. Okay. And so wherever you are transferred and you get to impregnate your mother, my mother, you born there and then we go. So we were fortunately, given, I said unfortunately because I can't speak the Ewe language. My two other siblings, first and second born, can speak it because they were born there. We were not. So unfortunately, I can speak fluent Ewe language. So we were born over there. And then we started our normal, school. We grew up, So at the age of, I think, 10 or so, 9, 10, my dad, had a transfer again to Obuasi. So we did a bit of our education over there in the Central Region at Bikuma. And then we went to Obuasi where we were transferred. And that is where we continued. So I was jumped, I think, I was jumped from class 3 to class 4. When we got there, because after our entrance exams, they said that no, I did better, and so they can jump me. So I was jumped from going to class 4, we went to class 5, and then class 6, and then that was Peace and Love. It was a preparatory school. Okay. Then from there, my dad said, "No, you guys are coming to whatever. You're going straight to Saito." So I had my first show on Saito, So we started preparatory, and then from Peace and Love, we went to Complex, Complex, which was JHS. And there I was playing for school team as well. Okay. And that's where I completed. And then after that, I moved. My dad got another transfer again. So we moved from Obuasi to Bonongahafu. Specifically in Brekum. Okay. So that's where then my dad said, okay, finish your JHS over here and then come continue your SHS over here. So from there, we went to SHS in Brekum. So that's where I did my senior high school. After that, then I moved to Accra.
Oh, okay. And then Brekum, which school?
Brekum Senior Secondary School.
Oh, okay.
Best. Oh, okay. That was what it was known for at the time. And so, yes, that's where I did my SHS. And then from there, I said, I'm tired, I want to move to Accra. I had an auntie over here who said, come on, come. But before then, I'd had a fight with my dad because I told him I'm not playing football again. And he was very angry. So I remember very well when I moved to Accra, he was not talking to me for a couple of months until I told one of my uncles that this is what is going on. My mom was there also pleading and all of that. So he decided that now he wants to help me out. So he made me, and the interesting thing was this. My dad had there was a radio station called Shalom Radio. Okay. And when I told my dad that I want to do radio, even though he was not happy about it, I told him that I needed his help. Now, the manager of Shalom Radio Station was his best friend. So he had to talk to his best friend that my son said doesn't want to play football again. He wants to do radio. So I want you to help him. And this, he didn't do with any smile. He was just like, he wants help. So let me just help him and let him go. So they introduced me to the man. I went to see him. He also introduced me to a DJ Nextman, who was on the drive time at the time. And so that was my first time that I walked straight into a studio to see how things were done in a radio station. So Nextman took me like his boy. I'll carry his CDs, we'll go around, do meetings and everything, and then we'll go straight to the studio. And when he's playing, I'll be there watching him, understudying him and all of that. After 2 months, I said, no, I don't want to stay in this place again. I want to move to Accra. So I spoke to my auntie. They facilitated that. And then I came to Accra. And when I got to Accra, I was like, where do I start from? That was the biggest thing, decision that I made for myself. But it was very, very difficult because I didn't know anybody. I've just listened to these people on radio and TV. I'd never met any of them before and all of that. So it was a big deal for me. But then I said to myself, you need to prove a point because your dad is angry. If you don't make this thing work, you would have a big issue out there because how do you go and explain to him that I failed at this? So he never talked to me when I came for a couple of months until the time that he said that, I should come home and visit. So I went back to Brekum because they were still there.
Okay.
So I went back to Brekum, and when I visited, I didn't even know Kwame Sefakan was an uncle. So I was there when he gave a call to Sefakan and said Sefakan wants to speak to me. Then he had told him that this is what I said I want to do. So Sefakan said, okay, where are you now? I said, I'm back to Brekum, but I'll be coming to Accra. I said, okay, when you come to Accra, come and see me. Yes. And so I came back, went to see him. He asked me to do a few things. He asked me about 3 times, this is what I want to do. I said, yes, this is what I want to do because he knew my dad was angry. So he was trying to confirm if I'm not going to go back and say, I'm sorry, I disappointed you and all that. So I gave him my, promise that I'm going to make this work. It's okay, fine. I'm going to support you. Anything you need, anyhow, just call me at any time. So we had a conversation, and that alone even boosted me that, you know what, you can make this happen.
Before we continue with that, what kind of students were you when you were in SHS? Do you remember your first day at school?
I do. So, I was that kind of guy, I never show up at anywhere when it comes to even classes. I won't show up, but somewhere I'll pass, I could be sleeping and I wake up and you ask me anything. And I think it was gifted. And I remember my dad say that a couple of times. It wasn't like I was a super talented or intelligent boy. But you never, if you want to come from first 5, I should be there.
Oh, okay.
So I remember one of our teachers, he teaches us Christian religious studies, Mr. AK. There was a time he was doing this, we did an exams. And so he comes and then he checks your score. If you fail, then he whips you. So he goes around, he's beating everybody. And I was sleeping at the dormitory. So he said, where's Justice? That's how he calls me. And then he said, he's not in the class. And then he sent somebody to come and look for me. So they came to the dormitory and said, AK is looking for you. He said, you should come right now. I said, So I dressed up, wore a school uniform, and then when I went there, I told him I was sick. He said, why are you lying? I know you are lying. I said, oh, I'm sick. He said, you know you. And then he looked at me, Justice. You don't come to class. You pass. And then gave me my script. I had actually, and in fact, I had A in Christian religious studies. Mm-hmm. I was the only ever guy who was in the tree class because I did general arts and I was doing elective tree.
Okay.
And every boy doing an elective tree. And guess what? I had an A in elective tree, and they were shocked. They were like, how can a network boy with tree people have A in elective?
But how did you do
an
it?
Elective. I don't know. I don't know. I think it was one of the things that made my PE teacher very, very excited. Mm-hmm. Because when we were in class, I contributed. I was doing literature, I was doing Christian religious studies, and I was doing PE. And these were all elective. Not core subjects, they were elective subjects. So you know that you need to do extra to be able to earn the marks. And so they were just excited that, somebody who can not even speak his own language is able to do this. And so, yes, I was not too the intelligent boy and all of that, but there was no way you come from first to 5, you won't find me there. I should be somewhere there. Yeah, and I think that it's also helped me, because I love to learn, I love to read, but I was the guy that will not show you that this is what I'm up to.
Okay.
So I could even be in the dormitory, you guys will be learning, and I'll be doing something just as you guys are doing in the classroom. But you never think that I will organize boys who go on food, who go and do anything. When it comes
at the end of the day, you pass, you leave them.
I had a group called the Big Six at the time. I was part of a group called the Big Six.
Where you come and
we're trouble people in class. We are not Big Six for education. We're Big Six for trouble. And those people will be, we lost a few of them, but those people will be around me, will do all the things. I'll pass, and then so some people were advising them, I'm going to pass here, kind of thing. But it's one of those things. I had a very interesting, education in SHS, yeah.
Okay. And then after SHS, you went to the university.
Yes, I did journalism a bit, and I did that at JG University when I came because I needed to understand what happens, when it comes to radio and TV. And so I did some courses over there, and then I moved on to GIJ, where I did my BA in public relations. So yeah, that's basically what I've done.
Oh, okay.
That's really
So at the time you went to the university, at that time, had you been to, Kwame Sefakai's place, him training you, you did it before going to school?
Oh no, so when I came back to Accra, I met him briefly at Peace FM, the old Peace FM. I think he invited me over, and then I met him over there, and then we had a conversation, we spoke. He encouraged me, that I needed to believe in what I'm doing. And so, yes, that was everything for me, because at that time, it's not easy for you to meet the Chairman General at that time. And so for me, sitting next to him and having that conversation, in fact, when I was leaving there, I said to myself, if he doesn't even call me again, or if I don't even talk to him again, I'm okay. Because whatever he said over there were things that I needed badly at that time. And for me, it was just in fact, I didn't even want to go back to him again and disturb him. My own one was that, follow through it, push yourself, and you make it. And I think that it's a problem with some of the young people.
Okay.
Especially those who want to be in this profession. When they meet people who have been there and who are still there, they want those people to hold their hands all through till the end of it. Nobody's going to do that for you. The only person that will do that for you is when the person is benefiting from you. For example, if you go to a school which is owned by maybe a top journalist or a top presenter or broadcaster,
Yeah.
because you're going to the school and paying him, the school belongs to him. So if you see him every day, it is not like he's doing you a favor. It's because he has to be there to ensure that you're doing the right thing, because he's benefiting from you. But if you're not benefiting from the person or anything of the sort, and the person gives you a day to meet him or her and advise you, the person owes you nothing. I don't blame Sefakai for anything. If he never even held my hand and say, I want to give you a job at Peace FM, he could have done that. But he never did. And I don't blame him for that. I respect him. And the funny thing, after all that I went through to get to the first radio station I worked for was Vision FM in Koforidua.
Okay.
I was there for 3 years on a drive time. And that was the only English radio station at the time. Check this. Fast forward. Sefakai comes with Springboard Foundation for the Springboard Roadshow.
Yeah.
And then they get to come and have an interview. We're partners of that Springboard in Koforidua. They get to have an interview for the show on a Saturday. On a Friday, guess who came for the interview? Mr. Abed Okran, Sefakai himself. And who was the presenter of the
Yourself. Interesting.
So he looked at me and he said, you're here? I said, yes. Do you remember? I said, of course. You related. I know. And then, so after we had a conversation, you should see the smile on his face. You should see how proud he was of me, sitting and interviewing him years after. That is everything.
Yeah.
I didn't need him to hold my hand and say, Peace FM, this is my nephew or whatever, give him job. I didn't. Those words he spoke to me and encouraged me and said, go for it, alone. So even that, I thanked him. Now, when we're having the program itself, he was making an example of how young people, go through things they had to go through to become who they have to become. He was using me as an example.
Oh, that's fulfilling.
I didn't need anything. I didn't need anything from him. And I respect him today. Every time when I see him, I'm so excited. He's so excited that I'm here.
So we see you here, and everybody would say KMJ has done things for himself. KMJ is there. Did you go through internship, national service? How was the training like?
Training, I never had to do. My national service was straight on radio in Koforidua. And
so once you went, you were on air? Okay.
So this is what happened. Let me share that story. Maybe it will motivate most of your young people who are also watching now. I got my first radio job on Facebook.
How?
Next week on the Career Trail.
I have slept at taxi ranks before. Those people are the taxi rank people. They don't know this. This is not once or twice. It was something I was doing on a daily because I couldn't tell DJ Willie I didn't have money.
The Career Trail. Your success journey begins here.